James. Antony Higginbottom.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Can I start by thanking all the staff at Burnley Hospital and our carers for their incredible dedication, and the volunteers of Burnley Together and other groups who continue to support those who need it most. Through this period, we have seen incredible fortitude and generosity of the British people, and businesses up and down the country, including in my constituency, have stepped forward and played their part in manufacturing what we need. There is one sector, though, which has been particularly impacted by the coronavirus pandemic: the travel sector. Airlines have seen their business model collapse, and I warmly welcome the action taken by the government so far. It has undoubtedly saved millions of businesses and jobs, but I would ask that they keep an open mind on additional support for airlines that may be required, and look at measures provided in the United States as an example. When travel restrictions are lifted and the global economy starts to tick over once more, this country will rely on the trade deals currently being negotiated by the International Trade Secretary to bounce back. And for that to work, we must have the links needed to keep goods and people moving. And I raise the travel sector not only to talk about airlines, but the wider supply chain. As many in this House will know, Burnley and Padiham is one of the northern areas at the centre of advanced engineering and manufacturing, supplying the components needed to build aircraft and the engines that power them. Sadly, one of the largest local employers in my constituency has just announced over 200 job losses, reflecting the deteriorating outlook for the aviation sector over the medium term, with airlines holding on to their existing fleets. These jobs are high-skilled, high-paid, and vital to keeping the UK at the cutting edge of manufacturing and engineering. And they are jobs that Burnley, with a higher claimant count than the national average before this crisis, desperately needs. My ask to the government is that the policy decisions, which could have unintended consequences, are considered holistically. The 14-day quarantine for international arrivals will definitely have some merit for some countries for a short period of time, and the government has my support on that. But as a blanket policy, it will only kick the aviation sector when it is already down, and the job losses that could follow will ripple through the entire supply chain. With a clear, sustainable strategy of test, track, and trace, measures like this can be limited to dealing with an initial spike or specific hotspot areas, and not as a long-term solution. For test, track, and trace to be effective, though, we need to get tested to a sufficiently significant scale, both in the number of tests available and the number of test centres that exist to deliver them. That is how we can ensure that capacity is always hit. I'd encourage all members to read South Korea's playbook on how it flattened the curve there, and they developed a test, track, and trace system. There, testing is done not only en masse, but also in very small K walkthrough booths, rapidly increasing how many people can get tested because they can get tested closer to home. And that is a model that could also be deployed in airports. For track and trace, the development and deployment of the NHS app will also be critical, and this can easily be mandated at entry ports to the country to help ensure our approach is sustainable in the long term. I know the government is looking at both options for the tracing app, with the current one being trialled reliant on a central database instead of a decentralised approach. There are benefits and drawbacks to both, but it is vital that whichever method is chosen, it is chosen quickly, because any delay in selecting a model and getting the app out there, or any change further down the line, will only delay when we can start to adapt to our own new normal. And let me finish by paying tribute to the enormous amount of support already put in place by the
Order, I'm sorry, Antony, we have to leave it there. Ben Lake.
Diolch, Mr Deputy Speaker. I would like to